pilot episode of That Makes Two of Us, where Gen X meets millennial, pop culture meets reality, and debates are unavoidable. I'm Kelsey, millennial, teacher, comic, and occasional overthinker.
And I'm Mike, Mikey D, or just plain old Mike, Generation X, voiceover guy, pop culture encyclopedia, meaning I pretty much know all of it or most of it. I'm also the resident curmudgeon because I'm old and I don't give a shit anymore. We may see the world a little differently, but that's what makes it fun, and I couldn't be happier to be hosting this show with Kelsey because she is awesome. We are 2 decades apart, one pop culture universe, and this has been long coming. This is That Makes Two of Us, a podcast about pop culture, lifestyle, and everything in between. Kelsey, how you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Mike. Welcome to the pilot episode.
Let's go.
Woo.
Super excited. How's your week been? What's going on?
My week has been dancing and dog sitting and getting ready for vacation.
Very cool. What kind of dancing, just so everyone's clear?
Country swing and line dancing.
Nice. Very nice. I have had a pretty good week myself. We are getting ready to take a little vacation down to Florida, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to bring this podcast to the masses and talk about all the things. So in the beginning, we mentioned that we're 2 generations apart. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a background from me. I was born in 1970 and raised through the 70s and 80s, and it was a glorious time. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet. We built forts in the woods. We rode our bikes. We stayed out late, or at least until the street lights came on and our parents whistled for us to come home. So in growing up in the 70s and 80s, I think we had a lot more freedoms to a point as far as things happened and it didn't stay in the forefront forever. Kind of went away, and we learned how to social interact. And because we were very independent, fiercely independent, I mean, I was a latchkey kid. So after school, I had a key to the house and I had free reign until my parents came home. And then after dinner, I sometimes had free reign until the streetlights came on. Or, like I said, the parents whistled for me. The 90s were a great time to be in my 20s. Again, no internet. So you were either with the group or you weren't, or you had to go find them. We spent a lot of our time going to musical events, music festivals, concerts, a lot of time shooting pool in bars, and just, again, a lot of social interaction. So that's where I came up. Kels, you want to tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a millennial?
What it's like to be a millennial? Well, I was born in 1990, and I would say that the part that I like is I got a little bit of your generation, still going out, playing in our neighborhood, hanging out until the street lights came on, or mom came out to the door and whistled or yelled, "Get your ass outside the house!" you know that sound.
It's so funny how mom's voice could carry like 5 blocks over. All the birds would fly away, the dogs would start barking, but I knew, got to get my ass on the bike and get home.
And then also part of the generation where everything changed with technology. We got internet. I can still remember hearing that AOL dial-up. If someone was on the phone, you'd have to be like, "Get off the phone, I want to use the internet." And being a part of that generation where we saw that switch and it happened really quickly, and learning all the things and just watching now, going through the early 2000s and now into 2025, just how quickly it's all expanded and how quickly things are gone, which is sad too. Very sad.
Some of the things that have been lost, I think, are greatly affecting people now, especially when I see where people they have a very difficult time interacting with each other, or they don't know for sure how to interact. And some of the etiquette or, what's the word I'm looking for? Customs or chivalry has gone away. People don't necessarily look out for each other the way they used to, or at least I see a lot of that. It's still happening here and there, but not like it used to. Mm-hmm. So for you, what's a big stereotype that you've encountered being a millennial and some of the things that have been thrown at you around that?
I think for me, the biggest stereotype that I see with millennials, I would kind of say there's two. Like, I feel like I get millennials are lazy, but at the same time, I also hear like millennials work consistently. Like, we don't have balance in our life. It's just work, 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 work. Which I felt like I went through that. There was a long period in my life, in my 20s mostly, where I'm working 1, 2, 3 jobs, internship, just not having a day off, just constantly going, never taking vacation, no sick days.
What is this vacation you speak of?
And then once I hit my 30s, so just like a few years ago, I decided to balance a little bit more. So I'd say there was a shift with millennials with stereotypes. I heard we're hard workers, which we are, but in a healthy way. And now as we're older, we're very much this finding balance in our life.
I can agree with that completely. I know that when I was younger, when I was growing up, and here's one of the big differences, I think, is that when I was 11, I had my first job, paper route. Kids, ask your parents on that one. And as an 11-year-old doing a big paper route, that's work. It's a lot of work. And then at 13, Dad sends me to work. So I was taught, you work for everything. You work for everything you have, and it can't be taken away from you once you earn it. The thing is, though, you're going to have to work hard. So I'm working 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs just to make ends meet, or just to make it through the day. And I think that's another thing that's fallen by the wayside for a lot of people. And this is generational, is that nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to earn that. They just expect to get that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people my age want to be the boss, be an entrepreneur. And I feel a lot of people don't recognize how much work goes into that. Like, they think if they have their own business and they are their own boss, they're going to have all this freedom. But you really work more than anyone else. You have to be on 24/7, 365.
One of the things I once read about having your own business is that you only have to work a half day and you can do whatever you want with the other 12 hours.
No. Like, when I used to manage a yoga studio, and people always ask me, oh, do you want to open your own studio? I'm like, hell no. I know exactly what's going to go into it. I'm going to be tearing my hair out and be so stressed. I'm just at the point in my life where I want to be able to work with a job that I love and does not bring me stress. I mean, all jobs have their stresses, but not to the point where, you know, when I come home, I want to be home. I don't want to be taking work with me wherever I go. Because growing up, my dad, he was born in 51, so he has that mindset of that generation of being the caretaker for the family and working. And I can remember as a kid waking up, getting ready for school. Dad leaves the house, goes to work for, 9, 10 hours, comes home and is still working. We go on vacation, he's working, which I love him for. He took care of us and provided for us. But there wasn't that balance of working and being there with your family.
And that's something for me that I developed at a very young age, was work-life balance. When I come home, I don't want to keep working. I don't want to work well into the night. I want to have that work-life balance where I get home and I do the things that I enjoy, whether it's spending time with my family, working on my hobbies, watching whatever movie or TV show I'm into at the moment, because that's all stuff I enjoy doing. So I totally get that. And I remember for my parents, like I said, I was a latchkey kid, so both my parents worked. And then more often than not, my mom would be home about 4 or 5, and my dad would be off doing whatever second job he had. And most of that centered around sports. He was an umpire, so he loved to go and call games, but then he'd just be gone until whatever time at night. So it was just a kind of different environment when it came to that. What's some other stereotypes you think that have been directed at the millennials?
Avocado toast. We can't afford houses because we buy avocado toast.
I mean, it's legit. Not gonna lie. I mean, avocado toast never hurt anyone. I think it's a little overrated.
Yeah.
They're gonna come for me in the comments on that one. That's super funny. So I think a stereotype for me is that Gen Xers don't give a fuck. Is it a stereotype if it's true? Because in a lot of instances, we don't. But that goes back to the whole, you're going to work hard for what you have. You know, oh, you fell down? Get up. Oh, you're bleeding? Wipe off the blood. Keep going. Oh, your car broke down. I guess you're taking the bus to work. You know, all these, it just, no matter what happened, that didn't matter. What mattered was we had to keep getting up and keep going. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of talk now that's toxic and you shouldn't do that. And oh my God, what are we going to do? I need a minute. And while I understand being in touch with your emotions, that's fine. There's also a point where it's like, hey, suck it up, buttercup. Shit needs to get done. And I feel like we were the generation that was one of the last generations to fully embrace that. Mm-hmm. I feel like when we talk about millennial, Gen Zers, what's the new one? Isn't there a new one after Gen Z?
Yes.
I can't remember what it is. I don't know. Sorry,
whoever you are out there in the world.
That's our fault.
You're too young for us to know.
We don't know who you are. That's our fault. And there's an awful lot of going victim to things. There's an awful lot of, oh, well, I don't want to work past 9. Or, okay.
Dude. Because we had this harsh turn, right? Like your generation was like, be tough and don't complain to me. Just get it done. And then my generation had that shift of like, well, let's talk about our feelings. And then we had this, because as a manager, I had this generation younger than me, the Gen Zers, where it was, they would, if it was raining, they would call out and be like, well, it's raining, so I want to come to work. I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to come to work just because it's raining? Like, get your ass to work. Or it was like the smallest thing where they'd be like, oh, I have a tummy ache, so I can't come into work. I'm like, this is not acceptable. It's just this big shift of like me to, I feel, an unhealthy point.
I agree with that. There's a difference between being concerned on your own well-being and taking care of yourself, and it's always about me. It's me. I also think that in 2001, things dramatically changed. For me and my generation, we were right around 20, 30 years old watching what happened. For you, I think it was more like, I know something bad is happening, I'm just not sure what. And then for Gen Zers, it's something in a history book. But that's also where I believe the psychological fear campaign really started. Because I can remember prior to that, as Americans, we weren't afraid. We weren't afraid. And after that, we became afraid. Mm-hmm. And that's just been fed into with a variety of different things, whether it's politics, whether it's disease, whether it's, whatever it is. That fear campaign came. And for Gen Xers, we're like, okay, what are you so scared of? Get up, let's go. First of all, we need to kick somebody's ass on that. Second of all, again, suck it up, buttercup, because the world's not going to stop. We need to keep going. So I think we've lost some of that. I also think, like, hey, you millennials, let's pull up the bootstraps a little bit, just saying.
Well, I think it depends on, because millennials, we're 81 to 96. We're a big gap of age for our generation. And I think there's a big difference between the early millennials, like the older millennials, and the younger millennials, because I consider myself closer to your generation of having that outlook of like, shut up. Just show your face.
Shut your face.
let's go.
You know why.
I don't give a shit. But then these younger millennials, they're definitely more leaning to that kind of whiny.
I think they just don't know what they don't know, and I think that they've been. What's the right way to phrase this? People don't know what they don't know. So that goes back to what I was saying around how we show up, what we were taught, how we were raised, kind of thing. And it takes a village, right? You can't just say, oh, the parents fucked up here. I look at the way the school systems are now and what's going on. We're arguing over so many things there that these kids who don't even know what they want for lunch are being presented with questions that are throwing them for a big time loop. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to not having that fear-based mindset, mm-hmm. they don't know because they've only experienced that.
I think what's interesting with my generation too is that you have either ones like me who have older parents. My dad was 38 when he had me. And at the same time, people the same age as me have parents who had them at a very young age. So I was raised by someone in the 50s. Meanwhile, I have friends my own age who were raised by people who were born in the 70s. And I think that makes a big difference because my dad was, very strict, had rules, like no bullshit kind of guy. And a lot of my friends with the younger parents, I think the parents wanted to change how they were raised. And so they were a little bit softer. And I grew up hearing no quite a lot. And, my mom's favorite phrase was want in one hand and shit in the other. See which one you're going to get first.
Do you know how many times I had to shit in my own hand? I'm just saying. Because I heard that too.
So, and these people who just never heard no, then went into the real world, became an adult themselves, and just had complete meltdowns, like couldn't handle.
Quick question for you. What were some of the punishments that you would get? Was it just grounding? Was it, we're going to take your phone away? Was it going to take your pager away? Whatever.
Give me that beeper.
Give me your beeper. No one's beeping you today.
It depended on the severity of it. Like, I definitely got grounded. No TV, no hanging out with your friends. Video games, I had the Game Boy, the first generation of the Game Boys, and that was very quickly taken away because I played it too much. And my dad, he didn't play around with stuff like that. He was like, no, you're spending too much time on this, so it's gone. I'm going to take it away.
You're melting your brain.
I got spanked. I would get spanked as a kid. I can remember being on the playground with my sister, and we were playing on like the monkey bars and the rings, and I would always get these really bad blisters on my hands. Like, my hands would just be raw and torn and bleeding, like horrible, and I would still want to go on them anyways. And my mom was like, well, you need to wear gloves when you do this. And so I would try the gloves, and I just slipped. So I was out on the playground not wearing my gloves, and my sister saw me, and she was like, I'm going to tell Mom when we get home. And she's running towards the car, and I'm behind her like, Lindsay, no, don't tell her. Because I know as soon as we get home, like, I'm getting the belt.
And here we go. For me, it was a little bit of everything. When I first went to school, the first 5 years elementary, I was in parochial school. Corporal punishment was still a thing. And some of those nuns, I think, took a perverse pleasure in some of that shit. For example, first grade, I had an intimate relationship with a yardstick named Betsy.
That could go many ways, Mike.
Shit Phrasing, Mike, phrasing. And, a lot of times, too, though, you get it at school, then you get it at home. Then there was grounding, so, okay, you're not going outside forever. I was a bad kid. I got in a lot of trouble. So for me, part of it was also that at one point they took the door off my room. So I had no privacy. Now, okay, in their defense, I may or may not have been making a small bomb that went off in my room. So it's not like they were wrong.
It was fair.
It might have been fair. I think it was fair. Sounds fair.
Yeah, so you can't do that stuff anymore.
Now, well, you can, but now you're going to be charged with a felony.
Yeah, now you're going to jail.
You're going to be on the terror watch list. There's going to be a whole other list of things that come with that sort of thing. And I also think that the accountability was there, though, because, we knew if you do this, you're going to get your ass beat. Or there's going to be a significant consequence. And I think this goes back to what you were saying about people don't hear no anymore. And there's no consequence for their actions. So if there's no consequence, why would I stop doing something?
Yeah, I think, and this is just my opinion, but there was a level of fear and well-earned respect with my parents, and I think you need a little bit of fear. You need to be kind of afraid of your parents.
Agreed. I mean, my dad used to say to me all the time, he'd say, "Look, Mike, I'm not your friend.
Mm-hmm. You can hate me all you want. Okay.
Someday I will be.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah.
My job is to prepare you for the world, not to prepare the world for you, because the world doesn't give a fuck."
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that I came up that way because it taught me resilience. It taught me etiquette. I mean, Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And there was a lot of times when I was growing up and as a young man, I deserved to get punched in the face. Or I may have had to punch someone in the face because there's that side of it too. So I think that's a really big thing. So when it came to, because I feel like we both grew up in a fantastic time for pop culture and just for all the things. What was the first piece of pop culture that made you say, "Oh, I'm into this. This is let's fucking go"?
Yeah, well, I guess we should say that the main component of this podcast is what brought us together, us
Fair.
being generations apart, was that we both have a great love of pop culture. And that solidified our friendship very quickly.
She gets my movie references. Not only does she understand them, but she throws them back, and then everybody's looking at us weird, and we're the ones laughing. So there is that.
He gets me. He gets me. I think what I first noticed when I was young about movies and TV shows is that a lot of people like a particular type. I only love rom-coms. I only love action films. I hate horror. And I love all of it. I love great movies that are award-winning, and I love really trashy movies. I've seen all the Sharknadoes. And I'm not ashamed to say it. And a movie that has always been my favorite and will always be my favorite, and I watched it at a very young age when it first came out, is Forrest Gump. And it was one of those movies where the lines, I could quote that movie top to bottom, and it doesn't matter how long it's been since I've seen it, I still have all those lines in my head. And when it's a good movie, and I say good relatively,
it's a subjective term.
Yeah.
That's a subjective term, 100%.
Those, if I can watch it one time and the quotes are there, I'm like, that was a great movie.
Fantastic movie. And I get that.
Yeah.
Because it could be the worst movie ever. But
Yeah.
if it's quotable,
Yeah.
oh, I think I'm there.
Yeah. And I can remember as a kid sneaking into my living room late at night to watch South Park because my dad would not let me watch South Park. And I was just so obsessed with because It's just a very particular type of humor. Shows like South Park and Family Guy and American Dad.
Dark humor.
I mean, I just think it's so
Inappropriate
funny.
humor.
Yeah, like just I will laugh at
100%. And so I mean, for me, it was like Three Stooges, all the Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera, and all of that had to do with people basically beating the shit out of each other. And we just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then we moved into the South Parks. For me, it was Beavis and Butthead came way before that. And it was just the funniest thing in the world to me, and hugely quotable.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like the first piece of pop culture that just kind of knocked me on my ass, hands down, Star Wars. We went to see it in the theater. Nobody knew what this movie was, and then all of a sudden it becomes just this juggernaut of entertainment. And I remember The Empire Strikes Back came out, I think it was 81. My dad was more excited than I was, I think, because he's dragging us to, let's go, it's opening night. And that was the first time I saw people dressing up. The theater was packed. And this is back at a time when people used to clap and applaud when a movie ended because it was so good. And I haven't seen, the last time I saw that was that last Spider-Man movie.
When it was
with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
No Way Home? No, the one after that.
I think it is No Way Home.
Is it No Way Home? Okay.
Far From Home, Homecoming, Far From Home,
No Way Home. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the first time, I think, in probably 15 or 20 years I had seen an audience actually applaud for a movie. Mm-hmm. So, Star Wars just ignited me. I also grew up watching Star Trek. So, all the iconic pop culture stuff, and then here comes Indiana Jones. So, for me, so that's the golden era right there, because these movies were fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of your generation when it comes to, like, movies coming out in cinema, because I feel like you had so many movies that were life-changing for people when they came out. Like you said, Star Wars, Jurassic Park.
Big one.
Jaws. Like, people wouldn't go into the water for that summer because they were so terrified. And then you had stuff like Michael Jackson Thriller coming out. It was released in theaters, which is crazy.
Well, when MTV debuted, that was a game changer across the board, because we went from watching cartoons or reruns of Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, Soap, that sort of thing. We went from watching that to watching music videos all day long.
Yeah. And
MTV, there are certain people that would not have had a career without MTV. Like Gerardo, Rico, Suave. This guy would have never had a career anywhere if it wasn't for MTV. And back in the day, it was all music all the time. There was different shows. So we had Headbangers Ball, which is a personal favorite of mine, Yo MTV Raps, all that stuff to cover all genres. And it was one of the only places at the time it felt like everybody's welcome here, because it's music. We're all vibing. And then Michael Jackson's Thriller comes out, and it was 25-minute long music video directed by John Landis. And I'm like, check this out. I mean, and there's a reason he's the king of pop. Now, say what you want about all the other things. Yes, we know. Yes, we get it. Whatever. He was one of the best entertainers ever, period. And one of the things that comes with these entertainers is that they're eclectic people. But these were the pop culture events that shaped me or made a significant difference in my life. And one interesting aspect of it was watching my grandparents not get it. Because they're like, what the fuck are you watching? What is this garbage? And I'll go, no, you don't understand. It's super cool. No, it's not. It's not.
I can remember anytime we tried to play music that my sister and I liked, especially if it was like rap or something, my dad would be like, oh, hip and hop and like he'd start just
hippity hoppity.
And we'd be like, Dad, stop it.
Stop it, you don't understand, you're making fun of it.
But I can remember getting up and getting ready for school, and the way we got up and got ready for school was you turn on MTV because it was just playing music videos all morning. And I miss that. Like, that was the bomb time.
Agreed, 100%. I mean, walking to school with my buddies and just we're immersed in it because we're always listening to music. And if we weren't listening, like I remember me and my friends when we were between the ages of probably 12 and 17-ish, every Friday night, we did Friday Night Dead. And we would go to the Blockbuster, kids ask your parents, and we would rent zombie movies. Some of the worst fucking movies you will ever see. Some of the best ones too, if I'm being honest. And we would just rent 3 to 5 of them. And then we would sit there all night, Friday night, watching these movies. And some of these movies, like I said, they were really bad. Some of them were really funny. Some of them were scary as shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper. That movie fucked my head up for a little bit. Just because I had never seen violence like that. Also, and I don't even know if you could find it anymore. I don't know how we got a hold of a copy of it. It was a movie called Faces of Death.
Okay.
The entire movie, allegedly, was clips of people actually dying.
Oh, shit.
And I came to find out later on that most of it was fake. But some of it maybe wasn't.
Well, it's like Blair Witch. That was a big deal because they were like, oh, this is real. This is a real recording. This actually happened.
You know what's great about that is somebody went to the producer, the director, and said, hey, they think this is real. And he went, good. Let them keep thinking that. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were always involved. I remember, this will crack you up. Buddy of mine, you know, we all used to meet at our clubhouse or the park or wherever it was we hung out and met up at. And one day one of our buddies shows up and he goes, we got to go to the fucking movies tonight. And we're like, why? And he goes, I just saw this movie called Die Hard. And we're like, what the fuck is Die Hard? And he goes, dude, best fucking movie you ever saw in your life. We got to go. I go, okay. We were probably about, oh God, I don't know, maybe 16, 18. So he says, okay, we got to go see this movie, Die Hard. And I go, yeah, I was about 17 years old. And I go, what's about? What, you know, it's about this cop and in this skyscraper and Bruce Willis is in it. And we all looked and went, the fucking guy from Moonlighting? Yeah. This guy?
He was known for comedies.
Like, who's this guy, you know? And we went to see this in a theater, and it blew our faces off. It was so good.
Yeah.
That's a great example of a movie that nobody saw it being what it was, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think a movie that, like, altered me as a kid.
Altered you? It altered you. Yeah. Don't make me change you, Kelsey.
I was definitely way too young when I saw this movie. I think I was maybe 8. It.
The TV miniseries,
yeah.
It? You watched that at 8 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, and people wonder why they're fucked up about clowns.
I was way too young. Like, I didn't shower for like a week because I was scared of the shower drain. I wouldn't walk near any of the drains on the streets. Like,
and see, this is where I'm terrible because I would get a red helium balloon and just tie it to a sewer grate and let it just hook. That's a good joke.
Yeah, shouldn't have watched that.
You know what? There was 2 movies when I was young. So on Saturday morning, it was all cartoons. But at about noon or 1 o'clock, they would show a double feature horror feature. Mm. The first movie that messed me up, and looking back at it now, I don't know how it messed me up, but it did. It was called Island of Terror, and it was with Peter Cushing was in it. Most of you will know him as Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars. And it was about these creatures on this island. They were the stupidest looking things. Like, as an adult, I watched it and I went, why the fuck was I afraid of this thing? But they would get a hold of you and they would just, like, eat you alive. And I watched that, couldn't sleep for weeks. I had the light on in the room. Now I need the light on in the bathroom. My parents, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because I can't sleep. And then the other one, strangely, was the original When a Stranger Calls.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think that just had to do with the fact that
that fucked with a lot of people.
This motherfucker's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And when she looks up and the door opens upstairs and you have to get out of the house, he's like, done.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
But then other movies that should have fucked with me didn't. Like The Shining with Jack Nicholson. I'm walking around going, come play with us, Danny. And again, my parents are like, what is wrong with you?
Red Rob.
Red Rob. Red Rob. I mean, it's just... And again, though, these movies, I feel like we got so many good movies in those years, and they're few and far between now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a shame, because the classics are always the classics.
Yeah. I miss the days of being able to go to the movie theater. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening.
Oh, this here we go.
And sneak into another. So we would look at the movie times or pick up the phone, call.
Movie phone.
And listen to the entire list. And if
Movie
you missed
phone.
it, you had to restart the entire thing.
100%.
Or go to the newspaper and find the listings in the newspaper. Did that too. And we found which movies, if we went and saw one, how long it was, and when it ended, when another movie was starting right after, so we could sneak into the second movie. And that's just not something you can do anymore. It's all different now.
Can't you?
No, because they don't put the movie title on the outside of the theater anymore. So you used to walk in, you'd be like, okay, Theater 3 is showing this movie, Theater 4 is showing this movie, that's when we're going to switch. But now, you can't see what the title... I mean, you'd have to, like, go inside and look, I guess, but that was kind of awkward. And a lot of movies are purchase seats now. You select the seat.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. We used to movie hop all the time. And, I mean, we would get dropped off. Our movie theater was in the mall. So, and it was beautiful because now we're talking early, mid 80s. We had the movie theater. Directly across from the movie theater was the arcade. And then we had an Orange Julius and a pizza place. Let's go. I could be there all day. And $20 back then, you could spend all day there.
Yeah.
You could do your arcade stuff. You could go to the movies. And when we went to the movies, we would theater hop all day long. All day long. We would just go from theater to theater to theater. I think part of it was because we were smart enough not to abuse it. Like, we didn't act up. We didn't throw shit. We didn't piss people off. The worst we did, sorry, Mom, is we would, when we got older, and I mean, like, above the age of 17, we would sometimes sneak beers in. Smoking was rampant back then. So every now and then we would smoke in the theater, or maybe smoke something other than, tobacco. Some of that wacky tobacco.
Let's just say what it is, Mike. Let's be adults.
Okay, so we used to smoke weed in the movie theater. But that was a long time ago, and a different time. So if you had a choice for a co-host, and it could be any movie or TV character, who do you think you would want as your co-host, and why?
I would want Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Jesus.
You thought I was going to say Big Purple Dinosaur, Barney?
I'm like, if you say this big purple fucking dinosaur, I mean, this is going to be the shortest podcast in the history of podcasts. Because I can't. Why don't you just say the Teletubbies?
Yeah, Barney from How I Met Your Mother. I love his character. I think he's hilarious. I think there'd be a good amount of banter and laughs.
That's interesting, because that's one of those characters that they now say here in 2025, he has not aged well.
Aged fabulously.
And I refute that. When people go back and they re-examine old shows, old movies, old characters, and they go, well, that hasn't aged very well. Well, first of all, it's a reflection of the time. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. And second of all, and this is probably bigger for me, We're talking about fictional characters on an imaginary thing.
Yeah. It's upsetting to watch shows and movies and even comedy and stand-up nowadays, because the thing I used to love about it so much was that it was an escape from reality. And now they try to bring in all the bullshit, and it's all political, and it all has an agenda, and it's like, we gotta be PC, and we can't trigger, and we can't do all this stuff. And it's just like, well, that's not entertaining or funny.
I agree with that 100%. One of the shows, it's one of my top 3 favorite sitcoms of all time, and it's been taking a lot of flack lately, and that's Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, this show hasn't aged well. This person's this person's bad because of this, and I'm going, first of all, you're talking about something that you don't have a reference point for because you weren't even alive in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was like.
Yeah.
Like for me and my friends, there was a core group of us at that time. There was about 6 or 7 of us, and we were always together, and we were doing everything together, and we busted each other's balls, and we talked shit like they do. And yeah, sometimes there was inappropriate language.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the hate crime it's being made out to be nowadays, I think.
Like, it's funny. It's a joke. Calm down.
And I'm glad you said that, because comedy is one of the greatest places in the world where there's equality, because we make fun of everyone equally. And if you can't laugh at some of the things, maybe you want to re-examine that, because you ever heard the saying, it's funny because it's true? I mean, that's 100%. Mm-hmm. I look back at All in the Family. This was a sitcom that came out in the 70s. It starred Carol Connor. I think it was, no, not Maureen Stapleton. That's Brady Bunch. Sally Struthers and Rob Reiner, who is, you would know him as a director. He directed When Harry Met Sally and a bunch of other stuff. And this was about a middle-class white family living in Queens, New York. And Archie Bunker, the protagonist, he was a bigot. Mm. And they said things and did things on that show that even now today people go, oh my God, that show was so terrible. And for me, I go, you're missing the point. You missed the joke. He was the joke because of his ignorance. And in the end, his ignorance is why he failed, or why the show went the way it did. It even spawned one of the first sitcoms for African American people in The Jeffersons. Mm. The Jeffersons doesn't exist without All in the Family. So to go back and examine something that's 20, 30, 40, 50 years old and go, oh, well, this is aged poorly and this is terrible. No, it's just a snapshot of how we progressed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think we need trigger warnings for everything. This goes back to the fear campaign. I don't think we need trigger warnings for everything. I think that if we just look at it for what it is, it's entertainment.
Yeah. And people are so worried nowadays about offending others. And they're like, well, we have to be respectful and we don't want to offend anybody or make them uncomfortable. And it's like, dude, that's not real life. You're going to get offended. You're going to get uncomfortable. Deal with it.
Agreed. Every time I have been in a situation where I'm growing as a person or I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, it's because I'm growing as a person and I'm taking on something new. It's not going to be comfortable all the time. Oh, and by the way, it's not going to be fair all the time either.
Yeah,
sorry to say. Life's not fair.
Mm-mm.
Life is not fair. And I used to go home. I remember as a kid, I was so hung up on that. Dad, it's not fair. Dad, this wasn't fair. Dad.
No, it's not fair.
And he would look at me and go, life's not fair. So what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
And that's where I go, okay, dust off the dirt. Let's go. We're going to do something different. We're going to change up whatever it is we're doing.
Yeah. And I feel like I think there was because we had great comedy in the 90s, in the 80s. Even part of early 2000s had some good comedy. And I think what people forgot is that it's a bit. A lot of them are characters that these people are creating. It's not actually them.
I love it when it's a bit and everybody's going, oh my God, it's so... Why did they do that? Okay, guys, it's a bit. It's a joke. That's how... It's a bit. How did you not get that? And I agree with you, but they did shift that... They did shift that a little bit because you had the Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm. And that came out after How I Met Your Mother, which that's one thing not a big fan of How I Met Your Mother.
Well, can't all have good taste, Mike.
I mean, I'm just saying, Barney kind of carried that show. You know what? Hang on. Sorry guys, we're gonna get into this for about 5 seconds. Let's just break it down. Ted Mosby is an awful fucking human being. Okay.
Yeah, nobody likes Ted. That's accepted.
Okay. 2. Why did they end it the way they did?
You know what's funny is they have a podcast called How I Made Your Mother, and it's the guy who plays Ted and the directors or producers, and they break down like each episode, and people can write in and ask questions. And Brittany wrote in and was like, was that the ending that was always planned? Like, did you always want it to end that way, or did it change somewhere?
Did they address it?
I don't think they've answered it yet. So
they
hopefully we'll get to know.
We absolutely need to address that.
Yeah. But everyone else in the show is pretty, like, Lily and I forget what her husband's name is.
Marshall.
Yeah, Lily, Marshall, and Barney, they're all great. It's just Ted.
Ted's horrible. The ending was terrible. I felt like they wanted to be friends, but they weren't. You know, but that's just me. I have 3 favorite sitcoms of all time, and How I Met Your Mother did not make that top 3. Sorry to say. Actually, not sorry to say. Sorry, not sorry. But circling back around, when the Big Bang Theory came out, that's a sitcom that was a whole new brand of sitcom, and it was genius because they incorporated every pop culture reference we could think of, and that's what made that show funny.
Yeah, and now we have social media and things like Instagram and TikTok where people make these videos purposefully to upset people and like get them riled up. Like, again, they're bits, but you read the comments and people are like, I can't believe they would do this. What a crazy bitch. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, guys, it's a joke. She's not serious. This isn't real.
Crazy bitch. Why did she do that? Oh my God. So true though. It's so true. And the keyboard warriors is a whole other thing. And we will dive down the rabbit hole of the advent of the internet, the rise of social media, all of that stuff. That is definitely some things we'll be covering as we move forward with this podcast, which, speaking of, what can our listeners expect this season and not expect this season?
I think what people can expect from us is complete openness and honesty, maybe sometimes unwanted.
There will be moments that there is too much information coming your way.
It's definitely probably already happened. That's like, we curse. So if this is probably too late to say if you're already been listening this whole time. Sorry if you don't like cursing. If that offends you, skip ahead. Maybe don't play this with your kids around, or do.
Oh my God. So Kelsey brings up a very good point. So we are going to dive into all of it. We both curse a lot. We both say exactly what's on our mind. We don't shy away from the truth or how we feel. So that being said, there may come points where you're going, who the fuck are these two? And see, there's the F-bomb. Sorry about that. And what are they talking about? We are just here to give an honest breakdown of whatever it is we happen to be talking about in that moment.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, like, well, are they professionals in these topics? No, we're not.
Speak for yourself, Kelsey. I'd like to think that I am indeed a professional in the pop culture arena and several other arenas, although I have no credentials to back that up whatsoever.
Such a Gen Xer thing of you to say.
See, and here we go. Yes, it is. Yes, how did I learn it? I because I watched it. I saw it. I saw it on TV.
I read about it on the internet. Yeah, it's going to be slightly unhinged. And I pulled quotes in slightly because it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, there are going to be times where we're diving down the rabbit hole, and you, dear listener, at that point are going to have to decide, do you come with us or do you take the blue pill and just go right back to your normal life like nothing ever happened?
Yeah, and we're going to rant and we're going to banter and we'll probably get off topic because, you know, it just is what it is. But I think with you and me, Mike, we just try and be as real as possible. No bullshit. If you don't like it, bye.
Agreed. And I think you are going to like it. And here's why. Because we're going to talk about the things that all of us either interact with or talk about or socially interact with. And we're going to hopefully come to a place of understanding. Because one of the things that Kelsey and I really value is having the conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. And let's have it in an intelligent, articulate way. Not in the way where we're just going to start calling each other names. Although that may happen as well.
Yeah.
So no promises there. One of the things that I think guaranteed that we will argue about this season is which shows are great and which shows aren't. Case in point, How I Met Your Mother, garbage. All right, not total garbage. I take that back.
That's right.
See?
Shut your mouth.
No, you shut your mouth. But that's definitely what are the good shows, the good movies, the good pop culture, the bad pop culture, and what that looks like. So those are definitely things that we are going to argue about for sure.
Yeah, and I can say confidently that I get things wrong, and I can admit that. Mike, on the other hand, if he thinks he's right about something,
if he knows he's right,
he will dig his heels in to the point where he's losing a $200 bet.
Had to bring that up.
Always.
Had to bring that up.
So there might be moments when we're arguing about who's right about something. I'm gonna be like, fucking Google it.
And that being the case, we are open to wagers on these types of things. So if you have a question, if you have a topic that you want to see us go head to head on, by all means, drop that down into the comments so that we can bring that up and address it in a constructive way.
And Mike and I are only human, and things might be said that some people don't like, and if you want to tell us about it, that's fine, because also we're the type of people who don't give a shit.
No, we really don't. I mean, granted, that's a Gen X thing. We're often accused of being abrasive or being mean or what have you, and we're not abrasive, we're not mean. We're just telling you exactly what we think and exactly how we feel about a certain topic. That is how I was raised. And the beauty of that is you're never going to wonder what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, or what's going on. You're going to know exactly where you stand one way or the other. So, yeah, game on.
So give us the good things, give us the bad things. We'll laugh at it either way.
We're definitely going to laugh at it. Also, some of the other things that we can look forward to this season is we're going to be doing a whole series of episodes right out of the gate on all things pop culture. The other things we will be doing is there's going to be a couple of live shows that we're looking to do, and we'll give you more information on that as we move on down the line. And also at some point, I think we're going to do a drunk show where we're going to have a couple drinks as we start and see how the podcast evolves or devolves as we go on that particular episode. So there's a lot of good things coming. There's a lot of exciting things coming. We are really excited to be here. I know I'm stoked, and I'm just looking forward to what we end up creating and going down this journey with you guys.
Yeah, and Mike and I cover a lot of topics. Even when we hang out and just chit chat by ourselves, we go through quite a few things, and that's kind of what's going to happen here. Like, pop culture is the main thing that brought us together, but it's really about all the different topics of life, fads, school, dating, and how it's different between his eyes from his generation and my eyes from mine.
100%. We had an occasion recently where Kelsey and I were in a cafe, And we had just gone down there to get a cup of coffee and have a little bit of breakfast. And we devolved into a 50-minute conversation over Marvel and the Marvel Universe and what was great and what sucked ass about it. And it was actually, I looked at her at the end and said, that was what we should have been recording because damn.
We should always just have microphones on us.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. Okay, so we have spent the last hour or so just giving you guys a little bit of a rundown of who we are, what this podcast is about, and what you can look forward to this season. Coming up in our next episode, we are going to be talking about the TV that raised us. Now, this is going to range from everything from the 60s all the way up to the current day. So that's going to be an entertaining episode. If you have any suggestions for us around shows or TV that made a difference to you, feel free to drop that into the comments.
Yeah, so...
That was great. I just, you know what? Kelsey, you bring so much to the table.
We're going to cut that.
We're going to cut that out.
Take that out. Yeah, I also still... I'm like trying to read and think at the same time. Obviously, that doesn't work well.
I'm going to hold off on any walk and chew gum comments around that. Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will be covering all things television, and I'm sure Kelsey will have some things to add at that time.
I'll be more prepared.
I mean, it's not her fault. I mean, between How I Met Your Mother, Gossip Girl, and The Vampire Diaries, it's...
Yo, I fucking love The Vampire Diaries. Have you seen my suitcases? Like, how did you not know it wasn't my suitcase? There's a Vampire Diaries sticker on it.
Because I've never seen The Vampire Diaries, so I did not know.
That's your fault.
Yeah. Okay, so we've spent about the past hour or so getting to know you guys, letting you get to know us, and giving you a basic idea of what you can expect from this podcast and what's coming up. In our next episode, Kelsey and I are going to be covering the TV that raised us. Everything from sitcoms to dramas, MTV, to the advent of cable television and everything in between.
Yeah, and what it was like to watch TV in real time when you couldn't pause or record.
This is a great point because if you saw it, you saw it. If you missed it, you missed it. And that was just the way it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Also, for the record, nothing beats being in the kitchen grabbing your snacks and hearing somebody from the living room scream, "It's back on!" And you come running in and vault over the back of the couch just to make sure you didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Probably some injuries. Lots of injuries.
I twisted my ankle.
Yeah, guys. So subscribe, follow, and get ready to laugh, argue, and maybe even learn something. Or not. Either way, it's going to be a ride.
It is definitely going to be a ride. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week where we talk about the TV that raised us.